What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Grind with your hosts, Slimzilla and Yeti.
Vover. What's happening, world? Welcome to the show. Good morning, Yeti. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm happy, man. I'm in my happy place. And the reason being, I've got one of my good friends I've known over 20 years. We've played against each other. We've partied together. We've played together before we retired. My boy, Mr. Shaun Wright-Phillips. What's happening?
What's going on, Jude? What's happening, everybody?
Welcome.
Bro. How you been?
I'm good, man. Just settling in, getting used to this cold weather back in England.
Getting used to being on TV all the time. Every time I look on Instagram, you're on TV, bro.
Dude, I can't do the suit thing, bro.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I was going to say. You in, like, shirt, in a suit. I was like, right. Shows out there ironing his shirt and that.
No, fam. Because it's under the blazer. What I do is I take it out the dryer quickly and then just put it on a hanger. So there's less creases. Put the blazer on.
But then if you take the blazer off, you're going to get that sweat.
It just stays on. I just never take it off.
So, as you know, the show's called The Grind, and you've got obviously an interesting story. Obviously, your dad playing for Arsenal, obviously Arsenal legend. Obviously, your brother playing as well. But then for you, and it's funny because when I was at Leicester, I was playing against you, like under 16s when you was at Forest. And kind of tell us about when you first started playing and kind of like what everyone was saying about you. Obviously, I don't want to talk about your height too much, but
you know how tall I am.
Yeah. But kind of like what their thought process was when you was coming through the ranks at Forest.
I mean, it was weird because obviously when I coming from South London and then just traveling up to Forest all the time was a bit strange because I refused to take money from my mum or my nan to help me get up there. So me and one of my best friends, Lee, we did like a paper round just to help facilitate the train ticket, basically, because we knew we'd get the money back anyway once you hand in your receipts.
Yeah.
So I always tried to do everything by myself. Obviously, I'd ask my mum and my nan if I really, really needed something. But other than that, it was strange going up there because I was quite reserved as well as a kid. I wasn't very outspoken and I just got changed. Didn't really like... I was quite timid in a way, unless I was with my friends.
Yeah. Or
unless I had to, look after myself on the road, basically. But other than that, I was quite timid. So going up there was, in a way, an eye-opener and I suppose a test of my mentality in its own right to start with. And then after I settled in, my mum and my Sunday league manager would come up and watch the games. And you could feel the differences, but from coming to Sunday League straight to there, it wasn't far apart at that time as it would be now, as you know. But it was cool. Everything was going well. And then towards the end, they pulled me in. They said, we're going to give him a YTS contract. We like how he plays and blah-de-blah. So I went up for the last game. Everything was still running smoothly. I got back on the train to go home with Marlon Harewood. I was with at the time. And my mum was on the train on the way down and then just got a phone call. It was basically like, he's too small and not good enough. So that was like the biggest mental, I think, block. You know what it's like as a kid, rejection that you most probably never had before. Yeah. And all things start pondering in your head. Am I good enough? Is it true? Am I too small? And to be honest, I just said to myself, I just believed in what my mum and dad have always said. Like, if you're good enough, you're good enough. The height doesn't matter. And I just said, you know what, when the next chance comes again, then I just have to go again. But the same scout that brought me there, within like 24 hours, had phoned me and said that Man City want to take me on a trial. And I just said, yeah, straight away, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Sort of thing. And you know what football's like, how quickly like you can go from basically on the floor, possibly the best person ever in that age group. And it happened so quickly. So I went back, packed some stuff. And this time it wasn't like just weekend. I had to just go up there for like a week.
Not just as far, bro.
Yeah, I ain't never been away from my mum's cooking for that long. That was hard in its own right. And I just, you know what, I just went for it, to be honest with you, at the time. And before I knew it, after the 2 games I played, and they just wanted to sign me on like a basic YTS as it was in them days.
Yeah. That's
so who did the decision come from that said you were too short? Did you even figure that out? Was it just an organizational, like, owner randomly tapped in, or what happened?
You know what the strangest thing was, like, in my career? You know, it actually summed up the theory that people say things always come back around, or swings and roundabout. So when I did eventually break through into the City first team, them 2 same coaches, Paul Hart and Steve Wigley, then became the assistant coaches at Manchester City. So they had me again. And because we had some big hitters there at the time, Robbie Fowler and Steve McManaman, two Scouse lads, that they don't really filter anything. So they would just be out in training, say, guess that was the biggest mistake you made in your life. Out them, basically. But I just didn't. I've always grown up and known that, like, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right, and everyone's going to always have a different opinion to, say, another manager. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not good enough to make the grade. And that's basically the way it was. So when I did go to City, I played a few games, and I was in like the under 17s and 18s for so long. There was like Dixon Etu that just surpassed me. And I was doing well. I was scoring goals. I was doing everything I would do, Jordan. And
well, I was playing against you, man. That's why I was taking yellow cards left, right, and centre, bro.
You had to chase him around all day?
Yeah, bro. And he's fast as well, bro. It's like, what?
That's why you became friends with him. You want him to take it easy on you.
There was some weird times. It was so disheartening, because I'm like, I'm doing as good, or if not better than them, but because they're bigger than me, right, you could say, they're going to like the under 19s. And I just said to myself, just keep your head down, just keep working hard. And then eventually I got to the under 19s, and I must have been there for maybe 3 months. And then I was basically in the reserves more than the under 19s. So I kind of skipped past them very quickly. And then there was a game, there's a story. There's my bad side, I should say. But so it was my birthday weekend, and my mates wanted me to come back down. And there was a testimonial under, obviously, the championship game, which was the Division 1, I think it might have been at the time, against Port Vale. But I didn't think I was going to be in the squad. So I went down, and we went out for my birthday. And of course, you know how it goes in South London or Birmingham. Something happened. Someone threw a bottle, like it gashed my eye, had to go to hospital. So when I come back up to Manchester the next day, the coach is like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, to be honest, Gaffer, like I fell over and there must have been some glass on the floor. And when I look back at it now, I'm like, that's the worst lie ever. Like, how I never got caught. Like, and then he pulled me aside after and he said, Shaun, obviously, I know that wasn't the case, but I'm going to run with that for now. And I just said, okay, thank you, boss. It won't happen again. And after that, I was just like, I knew what I wanted to do, and I just put my head down and just carried on going.
But that's because it's a good segue to go into, because obviously when you started at City, and then obviously you had a great career going to Chelsea and Man City, and then obviously QPR and ending up with me at Phoenix.
Oh, that was the best part of my career. Sorry.
Yeah. that's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. But like, how do you feel like the transition of managers has evolved? Because obviously back then you could get away with more stuff, and it was more of like that old school mentality. Whereas now, if you look at the Premier League with obviously like Pep and like all these different managers, like Tuchel at Chelsea, how do you think that's evolved, and how the players have had to change?
And you know what? For me, I look at it, I don't actually think it is any different. I think the problem that everybody has is the Instagram and the pictures and everything. Because I believe, the managers would let them do their things, but because of Instagram and social media, it would then come across like they're not professional or they're not controlling them. So they're kind of backed into a corner. where they have to make that decision and say, look, you can't do these things. I think if social media wasn't there, I personally think a lot of managers would be more chilled because they grew up doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
It's for me, it's crazy because like when I look back at even like summertimes when we go to like LA and like Vegas and that, like imagine if there was social media then, bro, like man won't be playing 19 years, bro.
We would have been in all sorts of trouble.
Exactly. So talk to me about how was your transition of playing soccer or football and then kind of stepping out of it? Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do, or did you kind of like seeing where it go, or did you want to take a break first and kind of just be around family and that?
For me, I found the transition quite easy. I know like it can hit people all different. So I think in a way I was quite lucky as well, because after the Phoenix situation and my last operation, I was basically just doing my rehab and, as you said, taking a break from it all. I was turned into a fan. And in between that, Man City had contacted me and basically said, would you like to be an ambassador and work with the Legends Club? So I was like, okay, cool, perfect. You know what I mean? And it was all on stateside at the time.
Yeah.
So I would go to all the events in like LA or Atlanta, and then they won, I think, 4 or 5 trophies, including the women, at the back end of that year. And then I was in South Korea, Thailand. So you know what I mean? As well as doing like other things that I wanted to do, as you know, I love doing the music stuff. And then things just started falling into place, and it just became easier and easier. And I actually enjoyed, for the first time, not to have too much structure. Yeah. Like almost when you're playing football, it's like you're a robot. It's just the same thing every day, isn't it? You just wake up, same time, shower, you get in a car, same banter, conversations, you go training, then you sit down and talk rubbish again, like just to stay there a little bit longer before you go home.
Exactly.
Especially in case with some that have got wives and kids, they want to stay at the house longer.
They're always hovering it around, bro.
They're doing like the gym and the pre-activation, and so it's nice to, in a way, to get away with that. And if my kids phone me and say, Dad, can we come and stay with you? I can do all these things without thinking about, am I here or am I not there? So I can honestly say right now I'm enjoying it. I will always miss it, but I've got so much things that I'm starting with now that all my focus and concentration is there. So I'm not really thinking about not playing, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Right. That's good.
And it's different to what, like, say, Scooter would do. And he'd be at training from like 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, not training, or just like work. He'll be there from like 7 in the morning to like 7 at night because they're just watching film all the time, bro.
And that's what Steve Smith said to me, because I used to speak to him quite freely through Peter. And he said to me, I don't even call it work. I call it work. He said, I'm going to my office job. Yeah. He said, because by the time he gets there and gets home, it's pretty much dark.
It's nuts, bro. It's great.
Has no life. How was the decision to go back to England? Was it hard?
No, I think work just brought me here because, to be honest, I'm a person that loves the sun. Living in England, we've had like 2 weeks of good sun, right. And then it will be a day here, and then 3 days later you might get a gloomy day, which is still warm, but it's just miserable all the time. But I think because of the shop that I've started now, I need to be a bit more hands-on at the minute. And the sports media stuff that I'm doing, and now doing a bit with Soccer Aid, like you kind of need to be in England a bit more. Yeah. So instead of being in America 3 months and then a month here, I've just changed it to being in England 3 months here, and then I'll come to America for a month, because obviously with the green card, you lose it otherwise. Yeah,
you have to keep coming back. Yeah,
and it's too hard to. Them things are so hard to get, and I was lucky to get the opportunity through obviously playing for Red Bulls. So I want to try not take advantage of it, but see where I actually will end up. I want to keep that option open.
Yeah. So tell us about your shop then. And what's the discount code? First of all, because it's kind of pricey. You get me?
It's only SWP, bro. Yeah, it's weird. I've been involved with the design quite a while, so we have fragrances to come as well. But at the minute, our first design is like a lady's handbag, but it's all to do with like technology based and the quality of leather. And you know, with some handbags, it loses its shape.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it has a bad day. Like if it's old and worn, you can see it. Whereas with our handbag, it stays all the time. It's more like an engineered design.
Okay.
So, like, I'll have to send you some pictures so you understand.
I thought you was going to say you're going to have to send me some samples, bro. You talk about pictures. Bro. I can see pictures on Instagram, bro. I want the real stuff. What are you talking about? I said about pictures. Unless you're sending me an NFT, bro. Let me send me the pictures.
Yeah, there's
a couple of sketches of what it would look like.
Exactly, bro.
Because it's bespoke, Slim. So
Yeah,
that like all handmade. So it's almost like if us guys go in a shop and you have a model of a car, you can spec it to however you want it to look, basically.
Makes
that's
sense.
kind of what we've done with the bag.
And that's why you kind of transition into fragrance, because it's going to be the same kind of concept.
Yeah, it's all going to be like, it's just bespoke and it's all by appointment. So you make your appointment, you come in. It's all about the experience. So when you come in, it's like free alcohol, like you got snacks.
I'm making my appointment now.
We partnered up with Scott's and Connaught, so they will do private dining for us downstairs. And like you can just make a day of it, sort of thing, 2 hour, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then, but you never ever leave the shop with anything. It always gets shipped to you.
Okay, that's even better, because a lot of times people don't want to be carrying stuff, bro.
Yeah, and you got something for the guys to do, and the ladies can get their shop on, and that's cool.
Yeah. So we just try to be a bit different. It's not like a shop. It's more like a showroom.
It's an experience, right? It's more of an experience, like a gallery kind of.
Exactly.
Right. There are going to be people that won't leave, though. You gotta make a guarantee they're going to buy.
Yeah, as long as they're buying, I'm happy.
Jordan, you haven't left for 4 hours. Are you going to buy something or what?
As I was on the sofa, just licked out by the alcohol, bro. So before we let you go, we'll jump into a last segment where we obviously ask the question, sponsored by Dozen Fight Club. What is tougher as a sport, American football or European football? If you was just like an athlete that was kind of sport Billy, kind of good at everything, what sport would be harder to play?
Can I? I'm dividing it up into two. Right. Running wise, I would say English football.
Mm-hmm.
But the physicality side is definitely American football. I think the only reason why I'm saying the running side is because they have a lot of breaks and stops and starts, whereas in English football, you're just running for 45 minutes.
Yep.
So
but this is my argument, because we use our feet, and obviously people don't use their feet a lot, and you're running at full speed, that you're not holding onto the ball, you know what I mean? It's detached from you.
Probably feels harder to you, like just like soccer feels harder to me in some ways.
Yeah, of course.
Because you're so used to what you were doing, but I'll take the dub though.
So you got me over here losing, bro. Like everyone's saying American football. Like
this was a shoe.
I think it's hard to compare, isn't it? Like it
is, and every guest has said the same kind of thing. Yeah. To be honest, they just compare it kind of that like cardio and physicality kind of. But hey, even though you gave me a rubbish answer, we'll still give you 3 months of free Dozen Fight Club, because I see you on TV and you're getting a bit round down here, bro. Like you're getting a bit solo, bro.
So they're not giving them to me for free. They're getting here for me to promote them.
No, free, bro. That's what we do. We free. FREE, free 99.
Don't need to look at the angle. Just show them by.
Yeah, exactly, bro. It's not like you won't get pictures of it, bro. I won't give you a little sticker. I'll give you the proper thing.
3 months, we'll send you a couple videos of us doing it.
Cool. Hey, SWP, it's been a pleasure, man. And thanks for your time again, man. And I'll see you on the screen, and hopefully I'll see you when you're back out in the States.
Vover!